Ladies and gentlemen, if you'll take just a few minutes, we will get started in a few more minutes. If you'll take just a few minutes to silence your cell phones, pagers, unruly family members, all those types of things. We'll get started in just a few more minutes. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that was not planned. We're going to have a greater entrance. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Thank you for coming. Before we begin the formal portion of today's ceremony, please enjoy a short video presentation from the class of 2023. Ladies and gentlemen, please bear with us for just a minute before we reset the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Southern Guards Battalion, Army ROTC Spring 2023 Commissioning Ceremony. I'm Simon Strickland. I'm the Enrollment and Scholarship Officer for the Southern Guards, and we are pleased to have you in attendance to share this memorable occasion with us. Please rise for the entrance of the graduating class, the official party, and remain standing for the national anthem, followed by the invocation. And now the invocation by the Reverend Dr. Ron Robinson.
Let us pray. Righteous God, you rule the nations. Bless these young people who will be commissioned today. Bless their families and all who supported them along the way. Though for a season they may be people of war, let them live for peace, as eager for agreement as for victory. Encourage them as they encourage one another, and never let hard duty separate them from your great love. In your holy name we pray. Amen. You may be seated.
Thank you, Ron. Ladies and gentlemen, family and friends of these soon-to-be lieutenants, good afternoon and welcome. Reverend Robinson, thank you so much for your thoughtful invocation. Let me first acknowledge our distinguished guests here that are with us today. In the official party, the host of today's ceremony, Professor of Military Science, Nicole Delaccia. Our honored guest speaker, Brigadier General, retired, Jen Buckner. And the 11th President of Wofford College, Dr. Nave Samhat. We are also honored to be joined today by the Provost, Dr. Timothy Schmitz, Vice President Roberta Hurley, Dr. Boyce Lawton, Dr. James Stutz, Dr. Trevor Robinser, Colonel Retired Jack Kaplan, and Colonel Retired James Harris. Please join me in welcoming the official party and all of our distinguished guests. Next, we would like to acknowledge the team that has been instrumental in developing and leading these young leaders, the cadre and staff of the Southern Guards Battalion. I'll kindly ask that these individuals stand, and please hold your applause until we introduce the entire team. Master Sergeant Franklin Taveras, Senior Military Instructor. Master Sergeant Rafael Morales Rojas, in absentia, Senior Military Instructor. Battalion Executive Officer, Captain Isaiah Lopez. Program Assistant, Mr. Kent Kraus. Logistics Technician, Mr. Mike Freeman. And the Department Executive Assistant, and by far my favorite person, Mary Strickland. Today is a great day to be a soldier, and especially so for the cadets that are sitting before you today, as they are about to become officers in the Army of the United States. But it's also an important day for all the families, faculty, and instructors of these cadets. For years, you've stood by these young Americans. You've been instrumental in their development as citizens, their evolution as leaders, and role models for their success. On behalf of the Southern Guards Battalion cadre and all of these soldiers that will look to your loved ones for leadership, we offer a humble appreciation. It is now my pleasure to introduce the host of today's ceremony, Professor of Military Science, Nicole Delachi.
Ladies and gentlemen, friends and family of the Southern Guards Battalion, in person and in the virtual space, thank you for being here today. To our distinguished guests, Dr. Nave Samhat, Wofford President, Roberta Hurley, our Senior Vice President for Administration, Tim Schmitz, our Provost, Dr. Boyce Lawton, our Dean for Student Success, Colonel Retired James Harris, and Colonel Kaplan, our guest speaker, Brigadier General Retired Buckner. The ROTC program greatly appreciates your continued support. I want to publicly recognize Captain Isaiah Lopez, who rose to the challenge as serving as your interim Professor of Military Science for the past year. Isaiah, you held this team together, and I want you to hold your head high as you transition from your assignment. Job well done, my friend. Best of luck to you, Melanie, and the kids on your adventures in DC, and I have no doubt that you'll continue to shine. Finally, I want to thank my team for organizing this event with attention and grace. It takes a village, and it really is with great admiration that I watched each of you put the interests of our students before your own, and it is with great pride that I serve as your new department chair. All right, now it's time to let the cat out of the bag. I've known these graduates for precisely 2 months. Nevertheless, I'm proud of each of you. Today is the beginning of many things that you'll accomplish in the Army, so keep your foot on the gas. And remember, you're not fully qualified as an officer until you've completed your basic officer's leaders course. And with that comes continued assessment of your leadership abilities, academic achievements, and physical fitness. There are still plenty of opportunities for you to stand before your peers and to be recognized as top of your class, achieving the top PT score, or even both. I want to share something with you that I wish someone that had told me when I was a lieutenant. You have a responsibility to yourself, your soldiers, and the Army to come up on the net when you need to take a knee. Prioritize your spiritual and mental well-being and incorporate self-care into your battle rhythm now. And set healthy boundaries with work and your personal life to optimize your performance. Constantly strive to be the best version of yourself. Dr. Maya Angelou once said, do the best you can until you know better, and then when you know better, do better. Throughout your Army career, you're going to hear the phrase work-life balance a lot. Don't glass it over. The Army's most precious asset is its people, and it's no surprise that the Secretary of the Army's #1 priority is people first, and that starts with you. Right out of the gate, most of you will lead a diverse team of around 40 soldiers, and I'm here to tell you a little secret that nobody thinks the second lieutenant knows everything. So listen and be present. Demonstrate presence of action, that's being where your soldiers are, and demonstrate being where your feet are by being engaged. They're watching everything you do and listening intently to everything that you say. Finally, I want to offer a framework of leadership principles that heavily influenced me over the years. Some of you may have heard of the late General Colin Powell, our former Secretary of State. He offered 13 life rules for future leaders to follow. I find them simple yet powerful, and I encourage each of you to tuck them in your kit bag and carry them with you on your journey. 1, it ain't as bad as you think. It will look better in the morning. 2, get mad and get over it. 3, avoid having your ego so close to your position that when your position falls, your ego goes with it. 4, it can be done. 5, be careful what you choose because you just might get it. 6, don't let adverse facts stand in the way of a good decision. 7, you can't make someone else's choices, so don't let someone else make yours. 8, check the small things. 9, share credit. 10, remain calm and be kind. 11, have a vision and be demanding. 12, don't take counsel of your fears or the naysayers. And 13, perpetual optimism is a force multiplier. And I'd like to add Delacchio's number 14, assume positive intent, because we're all just doing the best that we can. And I stand tall next to these guiding principles and find it to be a great addition for you to carry in your leader's book for reference. On behalf of the Department of Military Science, congratulations on your accomplishments and enjoy the time today, enjoy spending with your loved ones. This is the first of many achievements that are yet to come. Thank you for choosing the profession of arms and being part of the elite 1% of Americans who qualify to serve this great nation. It is now my distinct privilege to introduce our next speaker for today's ceremony. He firmly supports the Army ROTC program and is a fellow Michigander. We recently got to know one another over lunch, and the thing that stuck out to me about him the most was his humility. Dr. Sam Hatt studied international affairs at George Washington University for his bachelor's, Columbia University for his master's, and pursued a PhD in political science from Northwestern University. He focused his academic interests on the Middle East and has firmly advocated the liberal arts education experience. Southern Guards, let's give President of Wofford College a warm welcome to the podium. Concord!
We're not just Michiganders, we're Detroiters.
That's right, sir.
That's right. Go Tigers. Thank you all for being here. As president of Wofford College, I'm honored to welcome you this afternoon to be here to witness the commissioning of this devoted, bright, and civically engaged group of women and men. And I'll be following your progress as you serve our country as outstanding representatives of the Southern Guards Battalion. In 1919, in the aftermath of World War I, Wofford became one of the first church-related colleges in the U.S. to qualify for a Reserve Officers Training Corps unit. Today, you join a distinguished community of commissioned graduates from Wofford College, Converse University, and USC Upstate, who have and will continue to make us proud. Today, you are being recognized and celebrated for committing to a noble cause, one that could very well turn into some extraordinary opportunities in your life and a fulfilling career. I know this because, having visited with our speaker, retired Brigadier General Jennifer Buckner, she has experienced the same. Today, Jen Buckner leads MasterCard's Technology Risk Management Global Governance and Operations team, and as she will share with you, her career in the U.S. Army set her upon this path. During her 30-year military career, she served as the U.S. Army's Director of Cyber, leading oversight of cyber capabilities as well as detection of cyber threats. She also serves as a board member with U.S. Express and the Cyber Risk Institute and on the Cyber Security Infrastructure Agency's Subcommittee for National Cyber Alert Systems. She's an Army Sports Hall of Fame athlete, a master parachutist, and former All-American collegiate swimmer. She holds a BS in Mechanical Engineering Management from West Point and an MBA from Central Michigan University. She was the first U.S. Army Cyber Fellow at the National Security Agency, and she completed Harvard University's Executive Education program in cybersecurity. She's a frequent speaker on leadership, cybersecurity, risk, innovation, and women in technology. And I'm delighted she's here to share her story. So please join me in welcoming Brigadier General Jennifer Buckner.
That was a very kind introduction. Thank you so much. And it is such an honor and a privilege to be here with all of you for this ceremony. And all of you who will, in a few minutes, give your oath to serve our nation faithfully and commission as that next generation of Army officers. And it's such a personal honor, as after 30 years, a 30-year career in the Army, that I now call the upstate home, and I'm really grateful for the connection with all of you in the Southern Guards Battalion. But first, before we get to the oath and the commissioning, let's start with most of you and why you're here. Families, friends of these young, impressive women and men we honor today. You have obviously made a great contribution to your country already, because I know that they have you to thank for being here today. Somehow you have instilled in these young people the value and discipline of hard work and the importance of service, a lifetime of service. So clearly your guidance and support has been pivotal to getting them here in this moment in their lives. And without you, I expect to hear some crediting of the families and friends here in your own individual commissioning and oaths. You have shaped these young individuals who will soon be responsible for what I would call America's greatest resource, the American soldier. Also, I know we have some faculty and staff sitting out in the audience today. Thank you. Preparing our future leaders. So these aren't just future Army officers. These are future leaders of character for our nation, and committed to not just Army service, but a lifetime of service. And so for all of you who have spent time in and outside of the classroom, through traditional learning and non-traditional learning, thank you for how you have shaped these young women and men. And I would echo your comments about the leadership of this ROTC program. I know it takes officers, non-commissioned officers, civilians to run an effective program. Your dedication and commitment to these cadets, soon to be lieutenants, has set them on the road to successful leadership. So I hope you'll please join me in another round of applause for the leadership of the Southern Guards Battalion. Thank you so much. Okay, let's talk about the importance or the significance of what we're doing here today with this commissioning. It was, 30 years ago, almost today, that I raised my right hand, and it's just moving to think about. Although I'm not sure I recommend having a wedding on the same day as your commissioning. Don't get the oaths confused. Commissioning ceremonies. They are the most important moment when the Army passes the mantle of leadership and trust to a new Army officer. It is obviously the culmination of summer military training, your daily PT, mentorship, leadership, development. But I know that training has prepared you to thrive in rapidly evolving environments. Agile and adaptive thinking, necessary to perform in challenging environments. I think we see today that chaos characterizes our battlefields of today, whether that be in the physical space or in the virtual space. And it will be your duty to try to make sense of that. We will count on you for innovative solutions to complex problems. I guarantee you that you will not have enough time. You will never have enough resources, but you will always find a way with your soldiers. These are skills necessary for today's Army, for tomorrow's Army, and beyond. And I am confident that all of you are ready to take up that challenge. We start a commissioning ceremony with the oath, and that is a common oath across all of us. It is simple and so meaningful and deliberately unconditional, where you will pledge your loyalty not to any individual person or party, but to the Constitution of the United States. That document represents all of us as American citizens, and in this moment, your solemn oath, we give you the future of our soldiers and our nation. That's what you're going to carry the mantle of from the ceremony today. And I trust that all of you are ready for that responsibility. As a commissioned officer in the Army, you are a warrior, and you are also an unwavering defender of the Constitution. There is no greater demonstration of a republic than the commission of an officer. And when you accept this trust that we're giving to you, you carry with it this actually almost a burden, a practical, moral, and ethical obligation to live up to our nation's expectations to those who are in the profession of arms. We remember that the Army exists for one reason, that's to fight and win our nation's wars and defend our way of life. So remember that we will continue. You are part of that, the call to fight and win our nation's wars, wherever and whenever they occur. And you also carry with it this non-negotiable contract with the American people. And I trust that you will live up to that contract as well. Okay, look, you are cadets, you are students, soon to be lieutenants. And so somehow you've been juggling all of this and you've done a phenomenal job to get here today. And I'm proud of you. We're all proud of you. And as you embark on this journey of selfless service, I'm gonna like add on and reinforce and then, come off the top rope and say it all again for a couple things to leave you with as you begin your journey as an Army officer. First, integrity and character. They will be revealed at the most challenging of moments, personally and professionally. So you taking responsibility for those moments is how you show those around you that you are worthy of their respect and their trust. We commit ourselves to being lifelong learners. The world is complex, it's getting more so every day, and you can adapt and overcome. You must read, you must study, seek out new experiences, change your mind. We were joking about our favorite books on commissioning. I started my career with Message to Garcia. I'm sure many of you have read that same book, Words to Live By, You Will Find a Way. And my second favorite in this day and age is Ender's Game, because we rely on you to think differently than my generation does. Third, and you said it, be humble. I think humility is the most underrated leadership trait that I can think of. No matter how successful you become, remember that you are always a part of a team, and most likely a team of teams. So be willing to listen and learn from others and share credit. That's great advice. Fourth, be compassionate. Compassion is another underrated leadership trait. Remember that the people you lead are humans too. We have hopes and dreams and fears and, daily ups and downs. And so be gracious and compassionate. And likewise, I know that will return back to you when you need it. Be courageous. And we don't just mean physical courage on a battlefield or, doing push-ups. It's moral courage that's gonna be the hardest. There will be times when you are called to make difficult decisions, have the courage to do what's right, even when it's not easy. Always choose the harder right over the easier wrong. And then, I love that advice. It's not advice that we would have gotten when we commissioned, but you are never alone. All of us, we're here to support you today and tomorrow and throughout your service and your life. So count on your family, your friends, your soldiers, if you are there for them, they will be there for you as well. And then I would always add, always listen to your NCOs. I am proud of you. We are proud of you. And I know that you'll make the Army proud. Congratulations on your commissioning. Good luck in your first assignment and your future endeavors. And I will leave you with an old phrase that probably has new meaning to each of you personally. Thank you for your service. And thank you all. Let's get to the commissioning.
Ma'am, we have a small token of our appreciation for sharing those words of wisdom with us today.
Ma'am, for the first time in my career, I'm going to coin a general
Oh,
officer.
look at that.
Thank you very much.
It's always a good lesson learned. That means I'm buying the beer. Thanks, Nicole. Really great. Appreciate it.
Today's ceremony is rich in tradition and inspired. It entails three critical parts: the taking of the oath of office, the pinning of a rank bearing the gold bar of second lieutenant, and the receiving of the officer's first salute from an enlisted member of the United States Army or Armed Forces. Army officers live under a strong and inspiring code. It guides our standards of official and personal conduct. This code includes loyalty to the Constitution, personal trustworthiness, and honor. As part of this time-honored ceremony, each cadet will have a commissioned officer of his or her choice administer the oath of office. All officers of the armed forces swear the same oath as they enter a life of selfless service. I ask that during the oath of office, you remain seated. Next, they will receive their rank in the pinning ceremony. Family members and/or friends of their choosing will place the rank of second lieutenant on their shoulders. In the final stages of the ceremony, the newly commissioned lieutenant will render his or her first salute. Today's first salute ceremony is a time-honored tradition within the Army and dates back to the British regiments in colonial America. During that period, newly commissioned British officers were assigned an enlisted soldier to teach them about the regiment's history and traditions. Grateful officers often showed their heartfelt gratitude by informally compensating the enlisted man with a small sum of money. During the first salute ceremony, the new lieutenant receives a salute from an enlisted member and then hands that individual a silver dollar. The tradition is a way to show respect for those outstanding enlisted personnel who helped each lieutenant achieve their goals. After the first salute ceremony, they will receive their oath of office certificate. For those of you who are giving the oath of office, pinning the gold bars, or giving the first salute, we ask that everyone take their time making their way up to the stage. And if you need assistance, we will be providing that. Also, on a side note, you can move around the auditorium as you feel fit to take pictures. Nearly 248 years ago, on June 14th, 1775, the Continental Congress sent out a proclamation to establish a standing army. When this proclamation reached a group of irregular militiamen that had recently pushed the British Army back to Boston, they were encamped on the grounds of Harvard College in Cambridge. The militiamen were there at the request of the president and faculty of what is now known as Harvard University. Maybe some of you have heard of it. Thus, the United States Army was born on a college campus. There is no better place to commission the next generation of Army leaders than right here on the campus of Wofford College. With that said, let's commission the class of 2023. Cadet Brooke Bozarth earned her Bachelor of Arts degree in International Affairs with a concentration in the Middle Eastern and North African Studies and a minor in business from Wofford College. She will serve as a Signal Corps officer in the South Carolina Army National Guard. First Lieutenant Henry David Spar will administer the oath of office.
Raise your right hand. State your full name.
I, Brooke Cherith Bozarth,
Having been appointed an officer in the Army of the United States
having been appointed an officer in the Army of the United States
in the grade of second lieutenant,
in the grade of second lieutenant,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I will take this obligation freely
that I will take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental
or
reservation
purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
that I will well and faithfully
that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties of the office
will discharge the duties of the office
upon which I am about to enter.
upon which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Lieutenant Svar will also be pinning Second Lieutenant Bozarth.
I'm coming. You're stuck here. I got you. These look so good on you. You're stuck on this side. Thank you.
Second Lieutenant Bozarth will receive her first salute from Chief Petty Officer Retired Mark Bartleson. Major Nicole Delaccio will now present the commission certificate. Can you raise the house lights, please? There you go, Mark. Is that better? Much better.
Good? All right. Congratulations.
Lieutenant Bozarth, the floor is yours.
I want to thank you this afternoon for my family and fiance who have supported me these last 4 years. Oh gosh, I didn't think I was getting emotional. And the amazing friends I made along the way. And the very supportive cadre we had these last 4 years. I couldn't have made it without y'all. Thank you.
Cadet Jacob Crocker earned his Bachelor of Arts degree in Business Administration, concentrating in marketing from Converse University. He will serve as a Transportation Corps officer in the South Carolina Army National Guard. Captain Isaias Lopez will administer the oath of office.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I say your name.
I, Jacob Crocker,
Being a newly appointed officer in the Army of the United States
being a newly appointed officer in the United States Army
and the grade of second lieutenant,
and the grade of second lieutenant,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear.
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
I do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely
that I will take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
and that I will
that I will
well and faithfully
well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
upon the office
upon the office
upon which I'm about to enter.
upon the office of which I'm about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Pinning Second Lieutenant Crocker are his parents, Mr. Rob and Mrs. Emily Crocker. Second Lieutenant Crocker will receive his first salute from Master Sergeant Brett Anthony. Major Delaccio will now present the commissioning certificate. Lieutenant Crocker, the floor is yours.
I've done everything by the seat of my pants, and this was no exception. I want to start off by saying thank you to my mom and dad. Thank you for supporting me in whatever impulsive decisions I've made. I want to also thank my fellow cadets, my grandparents, my girlfriend, and friends. Thank you.
Cadet Chardonnay Dura earned her Bachelor of Arts degree in government with a minor in international affairs from Wofford College. She will serve as a quartermaster officer on active duty. Her first duty station will be Wheeler Army Airfield, Hawaii. Captain Lopez will administer the oath of office.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Charnay Urel Dura,
Being a newly appointed officer in the Army of the United States
being a newly appointed officer in the Army of the United States
in the grade of second lieutenant,
in the grade of second lieutenant,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely,
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will
and that I will
well and faithfully
well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the office upon which I'm about to enter.
of the office of which I'm upon to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Pinning Second Lieutenant Dura's gold bars are her mother, Mrs. Charlene Dura, and sister, Miss Larisha Dura. Second Lieutenant Dura will receive her first salute from her father, Master Sergeant Retired Leroy Dura. Major Delaccio will now present the commissioning certificate. Lieutenant Dura, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon. I would like to take this time to thank my family and my friends for instilling into me an abundance of support and love. And I would like to thank the ROT staff and cadre of Wofford for preparing me to embark upon this journey as a newly commissioned Army U.S. officer. And to my peers in front of me, I just want to express how extremely proud of you as I am of you are. Thank you.
Cadet Samuel Lewis earned his Bachelor of Science degree in Business Administration Management from the University of South Carolina Upstate. He will serve as an infantry officer on active duty. His first duty station will be Fort Benning, Georgia. Captain Isaiah Lopez will administer the oath of office.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Samuel Lewis,
Being appointed an officer in the Army of the United States
being appointed an officer in the Army of the United States
in the grade of second lieutenant,
in the grade of second lieutenant,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will
and that I will
well and faithfully
discharge the duties
of the office upon which I'm about to enter.
of the office upon which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Second Lieutenant Lewis will be pinned by his father, Mr. Mark Lewis. Lieutenant Lewis will receive his first salute from Master Sergeant Franklin Tavares. Major Delaccio will now present the commissioning certificate. Lieutenant Lewis, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon. I would first like to thank the cadre and staff that make up the Southern Guard Battalion. Without their continued support and guidance, I would not be standing here. Thank you for the long hours that you spend mentoring and developing all the cadets that participate in the program. Secondly, I would like to thank my fellow cadets. You guys truly are like family to me, and I mean that. All of you have made a significant impact on my life. I will always cherish the friendship with each and every one of you. And lastly, I would like to thank my family for always believing in me and always supporting me. Lastly, I would like to express my utmost gratitude to my father, who has supported this journey of mine that began over 5 years ago and whose sacrifices for me cannot be appreciated enough. Thank you.
Cadet Danica Muller earned her Bachelor of Science degree in psychology with a minor in religion from Wofford College. She will serve as a Chemical Corps officer on active duty. Her first duty station will be Fort Bliss, Texas. Cadet Muller's sister, Lieutenant Rebecca Muller, will administer the oath of office.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Danica Trotzen Muller,
Having been appointed an officer
having been appointed an officer
in the Army of the United States
in the Army of the United States
in the grade of second lieutenant,
in the grade of second
do
lieutenant,
solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to support and defend the Constitution of the United States
to support and defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
that I will well and faithfully
that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the office upon which I am about to enter.
of the office upon which I'm about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God. That was close. Yeah.
Pending Second Lieutenant Muller are her brother, Jared Muller, and her sister, Johanna Muller. Second Lieutenant Muller will receive her first salute from her brother, Private Evan Muller.
Congratulations, man.
Very good.
Major Delaccio will now present the commission certificate.
I got tears in my eyes. I called you man.
The floor is yours.
Good afternoon, everyone. First and foremost, I'd like to thank my family, friends, and fiance for listening and laughing at me during my crazy war stories from ROTC. To the cadre, thank you for answering every question I have. I was bothering all of you constantly, so that was awesome. And then to my classmates, I'm so excited to see you in the real Army, and I'm proud of every single one of you. Thank you.
Cadet Mackenzie Norman earned her Bachelor of Arts degree in Government from Wofford College. She will serve as a transportation officer on active duty. Her first duty station will be Fort Bliss, Texas. Captain Lopez will administer the oath of office.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Mackenzie Charmaine Norman,
Being appointed officer in the Army of the United States
being appointed officer in the United States
in the grade of second lieutenant,
in the grade of second lieutenant,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will
and that I will
well and faithfully
discharge the duties
of the office
of the office
upon which I'm about to enter.
upon which I'm about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Pending Second Lieutenant Norman are her parents, Mr. Kenny and Mrs. Tamika Norman. Lieutenant Norman will receive her first salute from her uncle, Sergeant First Class Retired Jeffrey Norman. Major Delaccio will now present the commission certificate. The floor is yours.
I made it the whole time without crying. I want to give thanks to anyone who has supported me in any way in my journey. Over the 4 years, we have grown as a family, and now we must part our ways. I am proud of all of my classmates. We made it. I remember freshman year, I cried in my sleeping bag during the first FTX. I am especially proud of my best friend, Lieutenant Dora. I am also very reminded that I am not alone in this journey. Thank you. To the cadre, we cannot thank you enough.
Cadet John Martin Reed earned his Bachelor of Arts degree in International Affairs from Wofford College. He will serve as a military intelligence officer, branch detailed armor on active duty. His first duty station will be Fort Benning, Georgia. Colonel Retired James Harris will administer the oath of office.
For this adventure? Raise your right hand and win. I state your full name.
I, John Martin Reed,
Having been appointed an officer in the Army of the United States in the grade of second lieutenant,
having been appointed an officer in the United States Army in the grade of second lieutenant,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
without a mental reservation or purpose of evasion.
and I will and well faithfully discharge the duties
I will well faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of which I'm about to enter.
of the office of which I'm about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Pending Second Lieutenant Reed are his parents, the Reverend Bruss and Mrs. Teresa Reed. Second Lieutenant Reed will receive his first salute from his cousin, Petty Officer Second Class Ross Mitchum. Major Delaccio will now present the commissioning certificate.
Superstar, you did it. No floors.
LT, the floor is yours.
That's very weird to hear. Also, I'm a talker, so they gave me a script, so hold on one second. All right, good afternoon. I would like to take this time to first thank everyone who's been there with me along this journey. This list includes, but is certainly not limited to, my family, my cadre, my friends, and the 10 other cadets in my class that I've had the privilege of learning and growing alongside. Next, I would like to thank Lord for the strength and courage of those in this room who decided to take the road less traveled and fight for something bigger than themselves. Finally, I wish the best of luck to my classmates and those in grades below us in our Southern Guards Battalion. Maybe one day you will all meet someone as awesome as I am. God bless you all. Thank you.
As awesome as you are. So few of us. Newly commissioned officers, on your feet. At this time, the official party would like to congratulate the new second lieutenants and present them with a small gift. Army officers are expected to be lifelong learners, so one of the gifts we are presenting the new lieutenants is a book signed by the cadre.
Time. March. Hold. Left. Face.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the United States Army's newest second lieutenants. Please remain standing for the playing of the Army song. The lyrics may be found on the back of your program. Following the Army song, please remain standing for the closing benediction by Reverend Robinson and the departure of the official party and the newly commissioned officers.
March along, sing your song, free. Count the brave, count the true, who have fought to victory. With the army and proud of our name, with the army and proudly proclaim. First to fight for the right and to give the nation's might, and the army was rolling along. Proud of all we have done, fighting till the battle was won, and the army was rolling along. Then it's high, high, hey, the army's on its way. Count off the gates loud and strong. So wherever we go, you will always know that the army is rolling along.
Officers, go from here to serve your God and your country in all that you do. And as you go, may the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Amen.
Forward, march. Left, left, left.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's ceremony. We'll do this again next year. We thank you for sharing this proud day with us. Please join us for the reception in the foyer of the Rosalind Salinger Richards Fine Arts Building. Thank you so much.